Hello, everybody. It is a beautiful Sunday evening. We are doing things a little bit later today because some of these gentlemen have other things to do on the weekend besides hanging out with me online and chatting about old times. I want to mention to my sponsors how much I appreciate their support. 5 Star Guitars has been with us from the very beginning. If you're interested in guitars and you're west of Idaho, I'm going to say, then make sure that you go to www.5starguitars.com. If you're in the Portland area, they're based in Beaverton, Oregon. Just like my guests today, there's no sales tax in Oregon. So you're going to save a bunch of money on guitars if you go to www.5starguitars.com and make your purchases. So take your stimulus checks and go find yourself a killer Paul Reed Smith. And then if you're interested in lessons or repairs, they also do that. Their lessons, they have virtual and in-house lessons with amazing guitarists like Jennifer Batten. So check out 5 Star Guitars. Let them know that I sent you, and they would appreciate it. There's also a fantastic guitar and music shop featuring one of these guests later. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But we're going back a couple of decades to some of my favorite musicians that I was ever surrounded by in the high school and college days. These guys have held up really well, and thankfully they're at least 6 feet apart, so they can't beat the shit out of each other while we do this conversation. I want to welcome my homies from Jeremy Scared. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Look at this, man. You guys want to do a quick round robin and introduce yourselves? I can just point you out, and let's go with the singers first. Let's talk about Michael Ott. How you doing, Michael?
I'm great, Kev.
Where are you at right now?
Butte, Montana, in my home.
In your home. And the other singer from an era of Jeremy Scared, we've got Ken Rich coming back to All Access Live. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Is this the same room that you were in?
Great film.
Oh no, it's okay. It looks darker and more it's morose.
I was getting a pretty hard sheet on the forehead the last time I softened the lighting.
Looks good. Fantastic. Most important person in the band, of course, the drummer. So we got Paul Decker here. Paul, are you at the home office or are you in the shop?
I'm at home. Yeah. Right up my side, my bedroom, and my shop's right across the street.
Really?
I'm in Bozeman here. Yeah. Yeah. I live right behind the store.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Same location off Main Street.
Yeah. Right off. Yep.
Right on. Very good. Jamie Adams, you're not anywhere near Montana right now, are you?
Las Vegas, Jamie Adams, lead guitar.
That's Jamie. Jamie is familiar with Heather down in HR. She's going to know the Mohegan Sun Casino group, right? That's where you're at in Vegas.
No, I'm with Virgin Hotels.
Virgin Hotels, which is actually owned by Mohegan Sun.
No, they're going to be our gaming partner.
Okay. Of course, Virgin Hotels is not owned by anybody except for, like Richard Branson. Exactly. Who's got some Montana ties.
All comes together.
It all comes together. Yeah, man. And Tim Sullivan, he was my coach for marriage a long time ago. We can talk a little bit about that. Another phenomenal guitarist. And he's actually the resident laundrette of the band, right? So that
means you do laundry, Tim.
Tim, did you? Yeah. Did you want to start a load?
Doesn't do it.
Oh.
If you're going to use big words, you need to explain them to him.
It was a 2-syllable word. I thought that was going to work. But
remember when I said if you asked if there was any hot spots?
That's it.
It wasn't going to be. There might be one.
Okay. Yeah. Tim, you know what, man? I'm hearing more of a New York accent from you than I ever heard before. This is good.
I've heard of that forever. It's Butte.
Yeah. Well, Butte does that, but you sound a little bit more like you've been hanging with the family. If you know what I mean.
Live in Helen now, so I thought I was going to sound different, but I guess I don't.
This is your radio voice. I love it. Mm-hmm. Somebody that in this whole group that I've actually been in a band with and shared bathrooms with, and many other crazy stories. Ron McLean, man, welcome back, my homie. How are you? Yeah, you said there were no hot buttons.
Bonsoir. Yeah.
Are you in Butte or are you in Minneapolis right now?
I'm in Butte. I got back a week ago.
Okay. For those of the viewers that don't know, Rob, he's trying desperately to escape the Butte water and get to his new home in Minneapolis, right? So you're just trying to find somebody to purchase your Copper City Signs building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Buy it.
nice. Okay. Well, a lot of people do want to return back to Montana. They just don't want to own a sign shop on Montana Avenue. But
Yeah, I guess not.
but it's a good one. Yeah, I think you probably has a lot of built-in business, and you've done some good stuff there in Butte. So, you know, I know that most people watching this know that Butte has a real deep-rooted culture. I mean, there really is something special about Butte, and a lot of it has to do with born and bred folks from that area, and an appreciation for sort of connections. And all of you guys really had that in the band. You know, in the different iterations of the band, it was something really cool that you didn't see from other. You know, you'd see. Other bands that would sort of fit their role, but they weren't really seeming like family members, you know, and there was a lot of familial vibe that happened in Jeremy Scared. So how did that band first come together? Who put that band in the first iteration together?
Well, I remember going down to talk to Marco and asked him if he wanted to, because Paul and Mike and the guy named Chris Henderson were in a band called Trilogy.
Oh, that's right.
Chris
Okay.
was quitting, and Ken and I just were in a band that broke up. So I went to ask Marco. I remember thinking about this today too, because I was very nervous because I thought he was going to say no because he had a job. Him and Paul just got an apartment, and I went down and said, "Hey, what do you think we should maybe form a band and go out on the road?" And he said yes. And then we asked Paul, and then Mike, and that's how it started.
Okay.
Even though Mike and Ken and I and Marco, who's not here right now, have had ties since high school. But that
Really?
was the inception of this particular band
Okay.
called Trilogy before, because that's what they were called. So we just kept the name.
Okay.
You're a 4-piece.
Yeah, 4-piece called Trilogy. So when we added a fifth member, which was, we figured let's make a different name.
Right. You know, so I know that Paul, I mean, I guess Paul had just moved to Butte, right? From Bozeman. So
Yeah.
that what you
Day
said,
after day after graduation, 89.
really? Was it, you just
Yeah.
couldn't wait to get away from Bozeman?
Pretty much.
Dad had the
I was
local
ready to
music store.
leave. Yeah.
What was it about Bozeman that won you out of there?
You know, I was just ready. I wanted to be on my own.
Yeah. Find the
And
kid,
yeah,
go play some rock and roll.
yeah. And I moved to Butte, and like the next day I met Marco, and that was it. You know,
Yeah.
I was ingrained in Butte for many years.
Okay. You didn't have any connections with the guys like playing wise and at that
No.
point. Okay.
I didn't know anybody there.
That's crazy, man. I
Yeah.
thought about that because the day after you were 89, right?
Yeah. You were 88.
I
Right?
was 88. And the day that I
Yeah.
graduated, my buddies from music, Vic Evans and Ben Everingham, they split for LA. They figured,
Yeah.
I'm going to Musicians Institute. I'm going to be rock star. And I was so jealous, man. I just wanted to get out of Bozeman as well. But you chose Butte. That was,
It was a stepping stone. Yeah. But
Sure.
I ended up just staying there.
yeah.
Yeah. It was
Well,
good.
I laugh about Butte until you realize how magical that city is, man. I mean, Rob, it was the same thing. Rob McLean, when you went there, we played so many shows there, and in, pretty dingy, digs now and then, but that kind of was the allure to a lot of it too, right? I mean, there was you'd go off and find the greasy spoons after the gig, go down to the M&M and Stevie, cook up some vittles, and that was sort of a rite of passage for most of those bands. But I know that a couple of you guys, like Ken, you took off for a while, headed out to California to be a rock star. And what was it about Butte that brought you back from Cali? That was for Ken Rich.
Me.
Yes, you.
He's frozen.
Oh yeah, somebody's his kids are downloading video games again, so he has no internet connection. Well, let me go to Mike for a second. Actually, let me ask Mike because
Ken's back.
Oh, hi Ken.
There he is.
Hey, Ken Rich, I was asking what brought you back to Butte from California.
No, easy frozen.
That was a bad breakup.
Bad
Came back,
breakup.
landed at home.
Okay. Yeah. And I was just asking, Mike Ott, did you stick around? Have you been in Butte the whole time?
Born and raised until scared when we went out to Seattle and Idaho and did all the big gigs and tried to, get over
Yeah.
pinnacles of rock and roll. But born and I didn't realize how cool Butte musicians were until I got out of town. It's
Yeah.
a whole different thing. They're genuine, the most genuine group of guys. And like you said earlier, that we had jam nights. And I don't think if we had that jam night, we wouldn't have had that camaraderie. And we weren't trying to show off. It was like, dude, teach me something or show me something or help me out with this, or what do you think about this? And we were lucky enough to have that growing up.
Yeah, man. I do remember, and not jam nights necessarily, but a lot of times you had a great combination of original stuff and covers. The covers you picked were across the board really unique. A lot of them were great hits of the day, but you also had some kind of obscure rock hits. But you'd do your originals, and then you'd bring in a lot of musicians that flocked to come see you play. And you were really cool about letting people come and sit in every once in a while. And a lot of guys that I've talked to who are Jeremy Scared fans, for them, that was like the biggest moment and the one time that they could get up on stage with this great band and really feel like a rock star because they could rock with you guys. Do you have any memorable moments of anybody that got up that maybe was not quite ready to be on stage?
Paul's snickering. Paul, what do you got? What do you got?
Oh, you remember the one? Remember? It's just a shuffle. Remember that? It's just a shuffle. The drummer, he wanted to get him. He was pumped. He was excited. And he goes, I go, I don't know. How about you do Tush by ZZ Top? And that's, because that was kind of like a standard jam. And he goes, oh yeah, no problem. I go, it's just a shuffle. And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. And Timmy starts it off, and he comes in with the most straight eighth note drum beat you could possibly imagine. and we all, so he became known as It's Just a Shuffle. And it was just, that sticks around forever.
Turned out to be a killer drummer, though. He plays around this area now, and he's a great drummer.
Really? Was this early, young, like high school?
He was young, yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember Ken and I, and maybe we used to go to the older jam sessions on Sunday night, and it took a while for them to let us get up.
Yeah, you had to earn your spot.
Then they let us get up a lot more. But for me playing guitar, I was the same way,
Yeah.
All purpose and shit. It was Dave Height, Pete Height, all these musicians that were maybe one generation ahead of us that were so great. Just being around was like, to me, was like being with Eddie Van Halen.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, and Kevin, I don't know if you remember, but when we did when we played Bruise, it was 5 or 6 nights. And on the last night, it was a jam night. So a bunch of musicians would come up, on Sunday night. And myself, I mean, there were so many mentors, that I had, Dave Height being one. And for him to hand me his bass and say, here, play with the band. I mean, I learned a lot on Sunday nights. I also got really drunk, but I also learned a lot. And those Sunday nights were pivotal for me, being able to play with a band that's really tight and together, and it makes you better,
if you think about those days, because we were all at that point, early 20s, right? That was kind of like that roundabout era.
Except for Tim. Tim was
47 back then.
God.
Well, late 20s for me.
Tim was old when we were young.
If you guys caught the Soma conversation I had when I first got interested in playing drums, and I was like 16, and I would sneak into Cat's Paw, and thankfully Jerry Mullen and Craig Wisniewski would let me come back behind the board and watch while they played. And I only knew the stuff that I was watching on MTV, really. I hadn't seen enough concerts, really, and I just had in my head what I wanted to play like and be like. But I remember going to see bands early on. I mean, with Soma, it was like 86, I think. And for me, most of those classic rock songs, that was the first time I heard them. Pat Travers stuff and April One, a lot of those songs, I'd never heard the original versions. So to me, the way Soma did it was the right way. And, they'd always end things with Slow Ride, the Foghat tune. But I think, the obscure stuff, like when I say obscure, La Via Strangiato, right? The first time I ever heard that from Rush was from Soma. And I remember just being so blown away by how tight they were. And there was this, again, those guys too. And the family thing was full on with that band. Every guy really, you could tell if a brawl were to break out, they were going to get each other's back out in the parking lot. If they needed help with anything, they got that on stage or off stage. And I saw that in you guys, but it was like, you talk about generations, it was just evolved over a few more years, right? So I was old enough to get in these clubs, and I was playing in those clubs with these bands, but I'd come see you guys, and I saw a lot more originals with you guys than I did with most of the other bands that were traveling around. So to me, that was like then the next step where I could see, oh man, this is the step to take, right? You can get up there in front of people and you introduce your music, brand new original music, to these people by wetting their whistle a little bit with songs that they know. And so was that a conscious decision for you guys to be doing?
That was really the motivation of Tim Sullivan. We always wanted to, and you'd always play it. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. But we grew up in that scene where it was cover music.
Yeah.
And it was nice when you have guys that you work with that have your back. Absolutely. Yeah. And you start finding yourself being able to do this, and not having to emulate everything you're doing. And man, Tim, we just start writing down lyrics and bringing a couple chords. And then when you've got the unit and they're like, oh, let me do this. And this crazy thing was just starting to happen. And it was hard not to, once you get to that and you hear the songs that are going on, and pretty soon you're like, I am so glad I don't have to do Tush anymore. Yeah. I'm so glad. And you get the people, they would start, what's this? And then you have your dedicators, your fan base. And man, once they jumped on board, it was so nice where, and there was no ego. It was just a delight. And from the fans, we were getting the encouragement. And it was so nice that we could start balancing and enjoying what we wanted to do. Not only cover wise, but when you have that original and you're doing that. But Tim was really the stronghold on getting that. He was the forefront.
Okay. And Jamie would jump in there.
Jamie, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say, we got to the point where we were doing third set. We do 4 sets a night, obviously.
Yeah.
We do third set, all originals, and we didn't get fired.
Yeah. Well, was that everywhere, or was that mostly Butte?
Everywhere.
Yeah. That so when I think about that era, right, the bands that I remember that were able to get away with some of that, I know that Kid Wicked was out touring a bunch with Wiser Sin from Spokane. So Kid Wicked, Missoula band, they started doing some original stuff. They brought Wiser Sin in, who did almost all original from what I remembered. Soma was introducing some of their originals to the sets. You had bands like The Max, which was pretty much all cover, maybe 1 or 2 originals.
Oh, they had a couple things. Sorry to interrupt you, but they had a couple albums, right, Ken?
Yeah, I think they had 2.
Okay, yeah. Well, I just didn't
playing off of.
I think what I remember, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a long time and memory has taken a little beating, but I know that for me, when I would go see the Max, they had a rabid fan base of people that appreciated their covers so much. That band has been around still, I think, 40 years now. It's crazy, but they had a few songs that were their go-to that everybody always wanted to hear. My Sharona, it was like that kind of thing. Like everybody knew them more for their covers than their originals and their treatment of those. But it's interesting that at that point you could get away, like you guys could get away with a few nights or a few sets of just originals, and then start introducing them to merch, right? Because you can't go in as a cover band and sell merch unless you had cheesy T-shirts like Curious George, right? Right. So you, but But you had, look at this.
Look at them all. There they are.
So good, man. Oh, that's great. All right. So here it comes. The Jeremy Scared fans, they can probably just track down some of this stuff at Copper City Signs and pay Rob under the table to burn some cassettes.
We even have live. These are live.
Man.
Live at
everywhere.
Where is this?
Once a week.
Chicks. This was at Chicks Bar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Double album.
That's where we met.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you guys this. If you guys have all gotten a chance to listen to some of that stuff from back in the day, I just had this conversation with somebody. When I was in bands at that point, I was feeling like the band that we were in was pretty damn good. I thought, oh man, these are really cool originals and we're pretty good at these songs. When I go back and I listen, sorry, Rob, but when I go back and I listen to a lot of that stuff, I'm grateful that YouTube was not around back then, that people could not readily share a lot of this stuff on their phones.
Yeah.
But do you find that your stuff holds up to you guys at your standards? Do you feel like, oh man?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah.
I've gone back and listened to it to where I hate to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No.
I remember listening to Huey Lewis talk about that big Want a New Drug album.
Yeah.
And he said every time he listened to it, he could hear something that they should have done different. So when we first recorded that stuff, I always, we played that a little too fast, or I did that note or whatever. And then after years removed and I went back, I was like, holy I believe that stuff, when I go back and listen to it now, because I'm not listening to it trying to critique it, I'm just listening to it like I would listen to an album.
Yeah.
And I love it all. I think it's, I even think it's not really that dated. Maybe a couple of them, but you guys think that it's all
I remember I went back, I listened to one and I was listening to it because you guys were talking about maybe doing a reunion a few years back or something. I started listening to one. I'm like, shit, I don't even know if I can play that. I don't even know.
Exactly.
Like, I was younger and stronger or something. I don't know what I was doing, but I just don't think I could do something.
I'll say this. Aside from production.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please, Ken, you first.
I was just going to say, I listened today on the way back from Georgetown just to get into the spirit of the interview. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything I heard. It sounded really cool. And I think it's great.
Jamie was saying something about the production.
I was just going to say, aside from production, which is just a matter of or a circumstance of what we could afford at the time.
Yeah.
Aside from production, the songs absolutely hold up. The songwriting holds up. The performances hold up. I have no doubt in my mind, had we continued, that something would happen. I mean, we gave it a solid, 5 whole years.
Yeah.
And you look back now and you see bands that now we know it takes 10 plus. But yeah, it absolutely holds up. My biggest musical regret ever is that I didn't get to record the last one. The Cloud 9 album.
I'll say something real quick in there. The one thing too, like now, like back then we were living together. I mean, we were practicing every day. That was our life. And, we kind of passed on a generation below us, but now it's gone. I mean, there's nothing like this anymore. Kids don't hang out in their garages and jam so it's kind of we got to be the last guys. We played 6 nights a week for 2 years solid. And then all of a sudden, Nirvana came out and it was done. And all of a sudden, I don't think there's ever been a club scene like what we did.
We did 10,
ever again.
It's
never happened again. And I don't know if it ever will, but we did that, 6 nights a week and we just got better.
Yeah. Well, you definitely saw the tightening of the band because you guys were around each other all the time. Jimmy, what were you saying about the 10,000?
Well, if you've read the book,
10,000 hours.
The professionals, once they put in the 10,000 hours, I think Ken put in 10,000 hours by the time he was 16, probably.
I believe that. Yeah.
And, but yeah, we put in 10,000 hours as a band. I'll tell you one story about being tight is we got so tight that we started this thing where we would, at the end of the night, the big rock ending, the bum, 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 bum. To make that interesting, we would yell out somebody's phone number. We'd go like, Paul, to the band, I'd turn around and go, Paul. And if Paul's phone number was 774-7745, we go 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 boom. And like, dude, Paul's phone number is like magic. They're so tight.
I was just
Kevin, we did that. We did that too. We just yell out a random number, wouldn't we?
we
Got it from you. Probably stole it from you.
yeah. No, I'm really glad I was sober then, man, because that would not have worked after a lot of tequila. You know, my counting goes pretty screwy after, you know, a few shots. But oh, you know what? So in the background, I was just listening to Fade Away as we're talking here. This scream here. God, so good. Yeah. Are you able to hear that? Just coming through my microphone.
A little bit.
So let me tell you a story about that song. So we had this shack in Boise, Idaho that we lived. We rented a literal shack behind somebody's house that we ran a power cord from their bathroom into this cat. We had a bunch of mattresses that smelled like cat piss. And we would lock this thing up and hope that it didn't get ripped off. And that's where we rehearsed. A little space heater in Boise, Idaho. So, you know, cold ass winters. Paul and I both worked at the mall like a quarter mile away, and we'd go over on lunch breaks and jam. And that song, Fade Away, came from a trip we took to Sacramento to see Ken and his band.
Oh.
And went out with them. And to us, Ken was always a rock star. And his band in Sacramento, they were fucking rock stars. And on the way back, we heard on the radio the brand new debut. You know, California radio was always the coolest, right? The brand new debut, the new Metallica song. And these guys weren't into Metallica, and I was into Metallica. I was like a year younger than whatever. And we recorded Inner Sandman on a little tape deck, and we couldn't really remember the song, but we kind of remembered the song. So that Fade Away riff is kind of remembering Inner Sandman. So if you listen to that riff.
Are you kidding me? How did I not know that?
Okay, and then the guitar parts, the wah, 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 wah,
Oh my God.
So the other part, the wah, 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 with Mike singing over it, that's kind of like Alice in Chains.
Hold on, guys. Yeah, James Hetfield, he said he wants...
You mean Lars. That's funnier if you say Lars.
It would be Lars, yeah, sorry.
But no, you know, yeah.
And the Alice thing, you guys definitely, I remember like Alice in Chains broke right when I was seeing Jeremy Scared for some of the last times. In fact, in the chat, Jen Rankin is saying hi. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
She was there with me. I remember being so excited to go to the Scared house. And Paul, I was really, really proud of you, you know, that you made the breakaway from Bozeman and you were out there, you know, living it. Not just, you know, going off to school or going off and working a job, but, you know, you're living it in a band house with a band out there, just putting, you know, eating ramen and doing whatever you had to do to make it big.
Yeah.
And Jen and I were getting married in like 2 weeks. And Tim Sullivan said, wait, what? You guys are getting married? I said, yeah. He said, dude,
Sorry.
Worst thing you could ever do. I'm telling you, if you want to play music for a living. And then he goes, I'm just telling you right now, man. I was like, okay, coach, thanks, man. And Jen didn't know you at all. It was really funny. And she's like, why would he say something like that? And I said, well, obviously he's been burned a couple of times, you know. And so, you know, thankfully Jen and I are real close, but she'll be the first to agree that when we decided to dissolve our marriage, my thought went back to Tim going, fuck, he was right. No, that's not true. Actually, you know what? If it was not for my wife, there's no way I would have accomplished half the stuff I did in music, because I got the most support from that woman. So I probably owe more thanks to her and her support than I do anything else, other than maybe watching you guys and Soma, you know?
Love you, Jen.
Yeah. She's a badass.
Well, and I gotta say, Timmy there, you know, he had a roadmap to, you know, how things should be, and you know, without Timmy,
we could have a whole segment on me.
I was just going to say, tell me about that roadmap, Paul. Let's hear it.
It was a strict roadmap, and you know, we didn't always follow Timmy's rules, but you know, without Timmy, it would have been a different situation. So he kept us all in line, you know.
I'm sure. Was he militant? Yeah. Did he say, all right, you guys are up by 7 a.m.?
No, I think though the Jeremy Scared thing was a situation of old versus new. It was Tim versus the rest of us, kind of pushing that brick to the side. I always like to funnily say that our band was Poison meets Queensryche. Like that's a horrible sounding band right there. But it was the old versus, that old sound versus the whatever new sound we could get in. And of course, like in hindsight, I was completely wrong about everything. Tim was completely right about everything, but youth is wasted on the young,
And this is good. This is a great opportunity, Jamie, and for others, you guys, if you've got, an opportunity to just make amends. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's true. It's true.
What were the best things
Kevin,
that the Queensryche?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you,
Go ahead,
Ken.
I was just going to interject, and you talked about Tim talking to you about marriage, and I invited Tim to my first wedding, and he said, I can't make it, but I'll catch you at your next one.
Oh, God.
I
was there.
Is that the second one?
Yeah, I was in it.
Good. You got another great shout out, man. Chris Vonlander says it's great to see you all in one place, even virtual.
Chris Vonlander, love you, man.
Where is Chris? Where is he?
In Florida, or?
He lives in Florida, and I think he said he's he's heading. Oh yeah, what? Paul?
I got to tell you one quick Chris story. So, in Music Villa as a kid, I was working in Music Villa, and Soma band came in, and I saw this guy with beautiful long hair.
Beautiful.
And he had a tattoo on his arm of Mickey Mouse, and I looked at him, and I'm like, that guy is the coolest guy I've ever seen in my life. And then, you
got it
there
done.
you go. The rest is history. All because of that guy. I got my first tattoo because of that guy.
What do you have? Daffy Duck or something?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I got a Chris Vonlander. When we would play the 17 Club, those guys would come in. And so I joined these guys. I was the only non-Montanan. Okay. So when I joined, I got the download of all the great bands. I think we saw, here was the night, the life changer was seeing the night that the City Club closed and Soma and Kid Wicked played. And I had never seen bands with harmonies and charisma and tones. So they were like amazing, right? So fast forward to us playing the 17 Club, and Chris comes in. And if you remember the 17, there's the stage with the bar to the side, and there's a little railing. And I was on the side of the railing, and Chris stood at the railing like this, looking at me. I was the new guy. And he watched me like this the whole night. Oh, at least the whole set, let's say.
No, that's because he was keeping himself awake, or he's keeping himself from passing.
No, but he was clocking me. And afterwards, he told Tim, he goes, your new guy's really good on his pedals. And I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment or a cut down, but I will take it. From
that is such a good passive aggressive.
I have a tattoo story.
All right.
Jeremy Scared. And my first tattoo, which was this dancing skeleton guy.
Okay.
We did a show with Nazareth, or we were lined up.
Oh, that's a story right there. All the time right there.
The next night, and I had a tattoo appointment, like, I don't know, 11 o'clock or something. Next day, my first tattoo.
Before your gig?
Amy, you're gonna be pivotal in this. Anyway, the guitar player Billy Rankin came in with, I think their sound guy he played bass. He was in a band called Salty Dog.
Oh yeah.
It was you know his name.
Yeah. Well, they got up and jammed that night, and afterwards we partied like all night. And these guys were like heavy duty partiers. I just wanted to keep up. These guys are Nazareth,
Right.
Anyway, I made my appointment, and I had drank so much the night before that I was on the tattoo table, literally passing out, and they had like reviving me with wet towels or whatever.
And they don't stop the tattoo. They just wet him down a little.
Junior was just like laughing at me the whole time. Come on, man, you got this. And that was my, that was my introduction to getting tattoos and partying with like a big band. Jamie, I remember your face. You were just looking at me like every time I woke up from passing out. You were the one laughing at me.
That guy gave us free tattoos for mentioning him on stage, and he gave me a tattoo, and then he signed it. He like autographed it. Yeah, like what the?
Oh no!
Yeah.
You guys remember? You remember in that band house that when we played with Nazareth? there was a historical, every band in the nation signed that refrigerator.
Yeah.
And remember, we painted the entire fridge black and
Oh.
put our logo on it.
Yeah.
We
And
covered
then-
every famous band in the entire years that had played there,
Yeah.
and we covered it in black
Oh.
and painted our logo on it.
And then we took the frozen chicken cutlets and
Yeah.
stuck them in the couch before we left.
That was them.
Yeah, the raw chicken.
Rob, remember?
Yeah.
Kevin,
Oh
remember
my
that?
God. That was you
Always
guys.
ahead of us.
You son of a bitch.
You remember Sweet Cheater?
So
Yeah.
wait a minute. The place you were talking about just now, was that in Idaho at Idaho Falls?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the band house.
Dude.
Remember
Okay.
Sweet Cheater was always before us on the circuit,
Yep.
and they would always leave food
Yep.
like in the corner. Remember the crab? The crab.
But what
That was
happened
my
with
band.
that? So
That was my band.
Right. Junior was
So-
Oh yeah,
we came
where we
in,
snagged him from. They were going to break up. We're
that's
like,
right.
guy in our
Oh my
band.
God.
the
Yeah,
worst.
I met these guys at Chicks when we coincidentally met my band's very last week. We were rehearsing downstairs, and these guys came in, and I had an offer to join the weirdest, worst fucking band in the world.
That guy with the eyes like that.
Yeah, and I was telling Tim about it, and Tim goes, kind of like the marriage story. Tim's like, man, I would hate to see that happen. I just remember it like yesterday. You go, man, I would hate to see that happen. And then he talked these guys into letting me in and let me in the family. That I owe him everything.
My God.
Just to give you an idea of how good that band house was, we had to hang fly strips all around it just so we could go to bed.
Can I tell you the band house story? All right.
Yeah.
So when we're on tour, this is the Craig Hensel era, right, of Curious George, and we had the Obros, Bill and Scott, Scott O'Connor were out there doing sound and lights. Bill and Joe O'Connor, thank you.
Bill,
Yeah, rest in peace, Bill. Yeah. So Joe lights, Bill sound, and so we got to the band house. The person that had booked the venue there, was it the Ritz? Is that right? Idaho Falls.
Yep.
Said, yeah, the band house is cheap, so we'll just take it out of your cut for the week. And we get in. They open the door in the middle of August, and the stench that came out, like I knew somebody had been murdered in there. It was so bad. And I think, we had Jill Clary in the band. I think at that point, this may have been the end of her demise in the band. Stench was so bad that we couldn't breathe. It was so awful. And we thought, there's no way, we're out of here. And so we go around looking for hotels. And of course, every hotel that sees a bunch of long-haired rockers comes in is like, nah, we're going to do that. So Bill would go in ahead and tell people in the hotel, yeah, I got a softball team with me. We're looking for a place to stay. And they'd say, okay, cool. And they'd start signing in. And then they come out and look at the plate on the van, and they'd see us all in there and say, you guys aren't a softball team. No. And so they kept kicking us out. So we had to go back to the band house. We thought the only way we're going to stay here is if we clean this thing out. So we get in there and we're throwing up outside the door. It's so nasty. And we finally, we get like a mop, and we've got a vacuum. We push the couch away, and the couch won't move because there's something underneath it. We lean the couch back, and there's like 10 pounds of rotted Alaskan king crab that you left underneath there, teeming with
I
maggots.
don't think that was us.
Teeming with
No.
maggots. Well,
We didn't leave the crab.
No.
okay.
We did paint
Well,
the
we
fridge.
left
though.
crabs. We left crabs. But
I
not
got-
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's all I remember about that band house was crabs.
Crabs,
That's all I remember.
Yeah.
We definitely had crabs. That
Oh,
Hey, I swear to God, this is a true story. I gave my parents a tour through that band house the day we were loading out. And I was telling them, I was explaining, this is how we do it. And I was going, there's times you lift up a bedspread or a mattress, you don't know what you'll find. And I lifted up a mattress, and there was a bag of weed under there. And they're like, they thought I was setting up a joke.
right.
It was completely like, I was like, well, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Well, how'd that get there?
Hey,
that
before we
place
go
was
on,
bad.
before we go on,
You have a
I'd like to show you
schematic.
this horrible drawing. This is a drawing that one of Paul's friends made, the same guy that did the logos. He did all the Jeremy Scared logos for us.
My
But I
God.
wanted to point out our sixth member, who's not here with us, is Jamie Stevens. We were
Oh.
fortunate enough on the road to have a
Yeah.
sound man, which I've always believed is the number one differentiator that made a good band from a great band on the road, was a band that had a dedicated sound man that was part of the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Jamie was an equal split guy, and these guys call me Junior, and that's why, because I can rap to Jamie Stevens. But
I miss that smell of cigarette smoke in the morning in the hotel.
Me and Polly and Jamie, same room.
Yeah, but Jamie's not here, but I thought we should just say a word to him.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I can
He's
interject.
been almost every band I was in.
I just wanted to interject for 1 second and say that Marco's also not here, but
Of course.
he was going to try to chime in if he could. He's got a house full of people,
Yeah,
but he wanted to be here, and he told me to say hey to everybody if he didn't.
that's cool.
He was original.
Yeah.
Original.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, he should be here. Like he's pivotal.
Yes.
Pivotal.
Thought he was
Yeah.
gonna be. We thought he was gonna be.
Well, he was in the band house that night that I came in
Oh,
and
yeah.
got marriage advice. So that, yeah.
Hey, after this is over, too, I can give you some more shit to talk about. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, I think this is the time to bring it out, buddy. If there's well,
No, I don't, because most of the things I thought were stupid.
Well,
I got a good Marco. There's nothing like sharing because we would pair up, usually we'd get 2 hotel rooms, splurge. Sometimes you get 3. There's nothing like rooming with Marco when you got a girl over maybe you're interested in, and Marco comes out of the shower with a towel on, just a towel.
Yeah.
And your girl's no longer interested in you.
Yeah.
She only wants to talk to Marco from that point on.
After Paulie, check me on this. After how long was he in the shower for, Paul? Half hour.
There was no hot water. There was no hot water.
Our shower boy was his nickname.
And he came out of the shower and he already had the headband on. The
Oh.
bandana was already on.
Well, Tim Sullivan, you were the writer of rules, man. You should have shut down the long showers, man, because it's
shit.
not fair.
There's some things we had to accept about each other, and one of them was that Marco was never going to be ready for checkout, and he was always going to drain the hot water tank.
Oh my God,
It's
man.
funny, you have lead singers. Marco was a bass player with the lead singer charisma.
You're right.
He really was.
Mhm.
Chris Von Lander just said he had a sign on the table in Casper with a drawing of a crab that said "They're here." So he's loving the crab conversations, but and as he should, because I'm sure Chris got crabs from several cities around there. That sorry, Chris, I think he's happily married now, has children, and they may end up watching these, but they have to know about the rock and roll history of their dad, right? So if
Nothing
ever,
wrong with having a pet crab.
what's that?
Nothing wrong with having a pet crab.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Absolutely.
We weren't doing anything wrong. It was just, it was in the bed sheets.
Right. It just, you showed up and that's,
It was just always there.
You should have left with them,
Yeah.
I'm a Soma fan, by the way. I love Soma.
Oh my God. Soma changed my life. They really did. I was just a little kid in high school in Bozeman. And when I saw Soma for the first time, I think they let me sit in, I think, one of the first times that I saw them, and I felt like this is what I want to do for a living for the rest of my life. I was really, I was, and it wasn't just
Brian for me, Brian Oakley for sure. Same
yeah. That package, and James Sloan, incredible drummer, but incredibly gracious guy. It was the personality that accompanied those guys too. You're not going to find a nicer guy than Art Ikley, right? And watching him shred was something that, you just, as a teenager, you just didn't expect to see that in Montana.
And if you guys think about it, have you ever seen a band right out of high school that's like that, like Soma was? Because they were right out of high school, and I was blown away too. I was like, I've never seen anything like it. You still go back and look at the videos of them at the Cat's Paw in 90 and 89 and whatever. And they were amazing. And you don't see that anymore.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, Paul, because there is this advent of incredible musicians at that age, right? The YouTube thing, kids will shred, but you don't see a band like 4 guys that are committed to professionalism and excellence at their craft across the board. But it's unfortunate, because technology is great for learning material and getting all those kind of things, but YouTube doesn't put bands together. It doesn't find 16-year-olds that have proficiency and says, okay, now move to LA or Boston or New York or whatever and slug it out.
Or have the nuts to spend a week in Riverton, Wyoming for $200.
Right. Yeah.
But back then too, we were lucky. We had my rent in Butte was $65 a month. I lived with 4 other guys and we each paid like $65. It was kind of, it was easier.
easier than living on top of a, like a laundromat on Hollywood Boulevard, right? I mean, that's the thing, that a lot of those guys, I think it was like, that was where, it was the real deciding factor for a lot of people, that they chose not to make that music their living, because they got to LA and realized, okay, there are 100,000 other of me that just moved here from every town from Iowa to,
And what are their stories going to be in 25 years?
Yeah, they've all quit. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Tim, make sure that she adds a dryer sheet in there.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
Evan, when I joined the band, I was fresh out of GIT. I had just done a year there at Musicians Institute and came back. And it wasn't until I joined the band with these guys that I played with real musicians. And I've said for years, I've played in bands and lived in, Idaho, Montana, Colorado, Arizona, California. I went back and did another round there. These guys and the Heights and all the Montana guys are the best I've ever played with. I mean, there was a time Ken and I did a little gig in Idaho Falls with a guy that's no longer with us, Chris Glanzer, drummer. And to me, that it was my musical peak as far as improvisation and connecting with a band and just playing for each other.
Yeah.
Amazing. Ken was actually the first guy I met out of these guys. I don't know if they even know that, but we played a band I was in, played Butte, and we playing, and Ken walked up on stage and goes, "Hey, you guys are pretty good. Can I get up and sing?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." And he got up and did 18 in Life, and like better than Sebastian Bach. And it was just like, we were like, holy shit, there's somebody in Butte that can play music. And then I moved there and with these guys, and it's just something in the copper laced water.
Ken Rich, it's a great thing that you were so nice, because I wanted to hate you so bad when there's a guy that not only is handsome, sings his ass off, and he plays drums better than anything, and I just thought, okay, well, I can practice, or I can give up, or I can just stay away from Butte, because I can't compete. But I it's funny about competition, because you guys talked about painting over the fridge. I know that so many bands were so competitive back then, even if you had reverence and respect for some of these other bands. But Rob, you remember, man, we would go out in Curious George and we'd cover up posters from the other band, on the poles and on the go to the college, and you'd find, like the Max had,
No. You did that to me. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Did we do that to other people?
But it's funny, because even if you had the respect for the bands, right, it was a competition. You'd think, these girls can't like, Jeremy Scared. They need to be watching Curious George shows, or we're just going to tack over their posters. And then somebody would tack over that poster, and you go back and you tack over another one. We'd go through so many trees worth of paper, right? But was it like that for you guys? Or did you feel like, you had kind of a chip on your shoulder about other bands? Oh, Tim, I lost you. You went quiet. No audio.
Tim.
Turn down the washing machine, Tim.
I don't know then. I don't know what to do.
There it is.
There
you're good.
So Ken and I grew up in a band, and Mike was around there too, and Marco. And all the older musicians than us hated everybody.
Yeah.
Even famous people.
Right.
So we never really adopted that. I mean, if we did, it was always private.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe we still sound shitty. We might make fun of a band or something like that, but we weren't like that negative, because there was a lot of people in Butte, the generation above us. They thought Night Ranger sucked. And it's like, well, turns out Night Ranger came in here and kicked our ass. Well,
yeah.
Who was it, Ken? Which one was it? Jeff, right?
Jeff Watson.
He showed up at Brews one night and fucking sat in with our band, me and Ken.
Jeff Watson did?
Yeah. Not with you. It was before Jeremy Scared.
That's 8-finger guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And he used the Area Pro. He's like, is there anything besides that Strat up there? And I gave him my guitar, and he's like, yeah, this will fucking work fine. And he got on my shit and he played and just whipped our ass.
Yeah, that
you gotta
band.
understand too, Kevin. I'll pipe in here. These guys from Butte, they didn't like anything that was not from Butte. I mean, these guys were tough. You know, you come from Bozeman. I had to like change my whole wardrobe, my whole everything to fit in with these guys.
Did they?
You couldn't argue with it after they played. They played.
Like these guys are from Butte. Oh shit!
Imagine,
Kevin, you'll definitely go along with that, won't you, Kevin?
Totally, man. I could not hang, and that's the last place I got cold cocked actually down there at Brewers. I know, like when I think of Butte, I think of getting my ass kicked for sure.
Every night, fights every night.
Imagine knowing Ken. Imagine knowing Ken for a year as this awesome singer, and then he fucking can play drums.
Yeah, not
he
fair.
Plays drums too.
Yeah,
10 times better than your current drummer, Paul.
Ken, hey, I'll tell you, I'll give Ken credit. He made me a better drummer because I was like, God damn, this guy he's pushing it with me. I had to practice. I had to get better because old Kenny there, not only was he a great drummer, he sang.
He did
I couldn't sing.
He did that for my singing too. He just made me quit singing altogether.
He still plays double bass better than me.
Yeah,
I still can't keep up with him.
You know, everybody's got
drum kits on stage, right?
Everybody has an edge on Ken though, because you all have better internet connection than he does. So yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Keep him quiet.
I have a story, and I'll probably freeze. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because all these words are so kind, but I need to shift this a little bit to Mike. And one of the funniest stories I ever remember, or one of the funniest things I've ever seen live in my life. Scared did a gig where they went completely in drag. Do you guys remember this gig?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Completely in drag. And you were talking about balls and being from Butte. I remember Mike standing on a table in this beautiful like taffeta cocktail dress. And
I have pictures of that.
Taffeta, darling.
It was the coolest thing I ever seen, because I was watching these guys play. And Mike is on the table with his wireless, and he's screaming at these two guys, "You're fucking pussies for not dressing up tonight in a green cocktail dress." It was the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
And I think you're right.
Here's the picture.
That's a front man. He rocked it in a green taffeta little number, and it was beautiful.
And I think your wife helped us get dressed that night.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
She did.
You guys, this is an entire box of Jeremy Scared photos.
You have got to be kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
Wow, look at this.
Man, we need some of that. I want to see some of that.
But when you just said the ones with we're dressed as women, I have that.
You have
it?
Yeah.
This
I don't know. There's 1,000 photos in here.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna
Kevin,
have to.
I made the ugliest woman.
No, I did.
Oh, I did.
You kind of look like a nice aunt.
We're gonna have to.
I
gotta find one funny one. Really find one.
While he's finding that, I'd like to.
Slut.
While he's finding that picture, I'd like to thank Tim for not giving me the marriage story.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Could have saved me 10 years and 10 grand.
Hey, tell me musically, what's going on with you guys right now? Rob McLean, I know that you've got local music happening right there in Butte.
Actually, Tim and I, we still play together once. Well, not for a long time now, but because of the COVID thing. But he and Wally Jennings Jr. and I, we play over in Helena quite a bit. And then I have a band Slacker that I lead singer, which is a lot of fun. I'm having a blast with those guys. Actually, my replacement right now is rehearsing with Slacker in the warehouse.
Really?
Yeah, they have a replacement going. It's a girl. I don't know if that has anything to do with my personality, but they're rehearsing right now in the
if the high heel shoe fits.
Warehouse. So yeah.
So are there gigs actually booked for you guys right now in the near future?
No, not at all. No.
All right. Yeah. Are they still kind of keeping things closed down there and COVID?
Yeah, I've been I bought a guitar acoustic from Paul actually in Eastman. I think Ken and I were talking earlier at one of his gigs that I've been just learning acoustic guitar so I can do some stuff,
Okay. Yeah.
Because they're only letting in 1 or 2 people at a time,
Sure.
do a gig. So
hey, Micah, what about you, man? I haven't heard you sing in a long, long time. What's going on with you?
Interestingly enough, sir, I was watching Tim wet the old gullet there.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Don't drink the whole thing.
This is the only thing left from.
Look at this. Can you see that? It says Butte.
All right.
Like it. Nice.
So,
Nice.
no, for me, after some time, I just kind of went into the shadows, raising a family with Tiffany. And unusually enough, Tiffany pulled out a bunch of old stuff that was sitting there, and she got it recorded. And we were riding up to the Georgetown Lake, getting out for the weekend, and I'm like, oh God, that is awful. Why would you put that in your playlist? And she's like, really? And so we've been kind of reminiscing, but lucky enough, my big performances right now are around the campfire.
Nice.
So I've been doing that, but I've kind of just been out of it for a while, with the family and stuff.
Yeah. How many children?
4 in total.
Okay.
2 with Tiffany.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you can still count to 4, Mike.
Sharing the crabs too, just bringing other stuff home.
Yeah, man. The campfire gigs are probably the least amount of drama you're going to find in rock and roll, right? So I don't have to deal with promoters and
Well, and after a full day of boating and heavy drinking and stuff, it's kind of nice because people just want to sit back and they're not going to be critiquing too much.
Yeah.
So
what's your go-to?
Half-assed food too.
What's your pickup? You pick up your guitar. What's your go-to? The first thing you pick up at campfire?
What's the first thing I pick up?
Yeah. What's your
song? Big hit?
Well, what I always loved that you did, Mike, was Seagull. You did an amazing job on Seagull.
Honestly, because my wife is my biggest fan, I usually somehow work in Somewhere, which was an original tune through there.
Okay.
I'm not that skilled on the guitar, so I can't do, Fade Away and all those cool
There it is.
Oh, look at that. Nice. This is great, man. So much.
It's really, it's kind of at the moment, how many beers I had, how much sun I took in, and it's like, oh yeah. So it's just a jam for me and around good people.
Do your kids get to know some of these stories? Do they get to hear about the old days of Mike Ott? And
they care less what Daddy does.
Yeah, that's kind of the deal for everybody. I think we're all going to be the last that our kids appreciate as far as rock and roll stars go. But
my daughter, she'll listen to me. She can put up with it for a while, but then Ariana Grande and everything comes right back on. So.
Yeah, for sure. And Paul, you've got some kiddos too, right?
Yeah. I got 4, but my oldest he's a drummer. He's 19. He's playing in a really good local band called the Dusty Pockets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they're a killer band. I just saw them Saturday night, and they're awesome. And then my younger boy plays every instrument there is.
The Dusty Pockets played on Saturday, a live show?
Yeah, at Pine Creek. Yeah, out at Pine Creek. It was like a live show. It was so nice finally get to go see a real show.
Yeah. They do it outside or
outdoors? Yeah, okay. Outdoors campground. It's great.
And we get some kiddo time right now with Jamie.
Yeah. All right. Who's that?
This is Sophia. This is my girl.
Hey.
I have 2 kids. One's at 28 and out of the nest, and then this one.
Oh, what a great segue. I mean, she just walked right into the room.
That's right.
Yeah.
Into the spotlight.
We play guitar and write songs together that nobody else will hear but us.
Oh, that's so cool. That do you have a go-to? You guys play together?
Well, you want to tell them?
This is for
we wrote a musical parody of the musical Annie, but it's called Fanny, and it's all songs about poop.
Oh man, that's fun. Timmy, so you're gigging. You mentioned Rob mentioned that you guys are doing some playing music together.
We do that, and then I have another local band here that I play with when it was open. And I don't really touch my guitar that much unless I'm playing.
Yeah.
Although I do have I have 2 kids myself. One's 8 and one's 6.5.
Wow.
1.5-year-old is he's autistic, so he's not verbal, but my 8-year-old is definitely going to be an entertainer.
Really?
I'm not sure what it is yet. I know he can hold a tune.
Yeah.
And he's expressed interest in playing guitar. So I talk about maybe sometimes put my guitar out more. It's just that when I do, I tend to like bury myself a little bit too much. So that's why I don't touch it as much.
Yeah.
I do. It's a bittersweet relationship, music with me. I mean, it was my whole life. That's all I did. And then.
Oh, I lost you for a sec. Tim, hey, I think your audio froze up for a second. So that it was your whole life.
Yeah, I can't hear.
Give it just a second. I think we exceeded the 406. Oh, that's a good pick, Paul.
Is that the drag night or just every day?
No,
That's Rob McLean right there.
Yeah, that was.
I can't find the when we were dressed up as girls, but I'll find it.
Thank God.
Try again, Tim. We'll catch that. So you.
I pretty much said everything I needed to say. He's an entertainer, and he'll do something.
Yeah,
music. You know, getting back to the second night we were ever together as a band, the very first was Kiss. It was Halloween. It was Mike's birthday. Monday night was October 30th. And then Tuesday night was Halloween. We dressed up as Kiss. The very next year, we dressed up as drag queens. And then the next year, I believe we went there. But then after that, the fourth year was we played Jeremy Scared 2 original sets. And then we changed costumes and we played
Black
Sabbath set, right? Yeah.
Black
Sabbath.
Sabbath.
Set of Ozzy and a set of Sabbath. It was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have I have the poster still that I drew up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That before I was in the band?
After.
Yeah.
After.
Or, if we could do that, that would have been the best. Right now, you can make money with that. That's like a full on.
Yeah.
We had it. Like
Especially in Vegas.
It was the best.
Izzy Espinola played keyboards on that, and he dressed up as like Mr. Crowley.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
There and played the keyboards. Because Ken had to front the band because he was Ozzy.
Yeah, I'll tell you,
did the
you want to
Ozzy.
hear Killer Jam sometime? These boys, when they do Sweet Leaf and War Pigs.
Oh, I remember.
Jeez.
I remember. I would drive from Bozeman after an early gig so that I could get there for the end of your set to hear you guys do Sweet Leaf and War Pigs. It's crazy because I think I just posted a video from somewhere up at the during Evil Knievel days, right, Rob? Or no, it was actually when I saw you last year at the car show that you had Ken's band up there playing, and I got some footage of you right behind you doing Sweet Leaf, and no, it was War Pigs. It was War Pigs.
Was that Shoot to Thrill?
No, it was actually after Shoot to Thrill play. This wasn't on one of my gig trips. I was there with Nolan. We came to the car show last year. Ken was playing. You guys were going to get rained out. And so I got some footage right underneath Ken, and you did War Pigs. And I posted it. That's up on YouTube, actually. And I thought, man, that son of a bitch can still do it, man.
That actually wasn't my band. That was Scared. That was Rob, Tim, and I, if we were doing that arrangement. And that's an old Scared arrangement from
you know what? I'll find
I think, didn't he?
I'll find a link to it because it was just War Pigs. But yeah, there's nobody that sang the Ozzy thing better than you, and then you were playing drums, which is not fair at all. But I had mentioned the kid thing. It's I have this evening, my son also is an amazing drummer, but about a year and a half, 2 years ago, he just found that he found more of a connection to the hip hop thing than just being Neil Peart all the time. So he has a live concert going on in about 45 minutes where he's going to stream something to Instagram. He's got a new record coming out. And so I get to turn some of this studio over.
Can you share the link with me?
Yeah. I'll send it over to you. It's pretty amazing that, we've all, everybody here, right, that has kiddos and you've got, your personal pride, you can step aside as a dad and you watch your child grow. It was so funny because he started playing guitar early on, and he actually studied with Jennifer Batten here and some other people. And he just didn't realize the opportunity he was getting. Right. So then he said, Dad, I want to play something easier, like drums. I'm like, dude, come on.
Oh my God.
And then he just started kicking ass on drums. And I saw that he had a lot of natural talent and was starting to smoke me, man. And he was so into Rush. And I was the other guy. I mean, I was like the Zeppelin guy and not the Rush guy. I could appreciate Rush, but I just I wanted to feel it more than think it. And so we had this little heckle and rivalry back and forth between the two of us. And he'd always get me with like, oh yeah, so what kind of lyrics was John Bonham writing? And then okay, all right, man, I know. But so it was
that
tough.
one out, did he?
He did, yeah.
Oh.
But it was tough for me to see him kind of put drums aside for a while and get into the rap thing and the hip hop thing, because
Mike, who was that?
That's my
walk
daughter,
by.
Bryson.
Hello.
She's my second biggest fan.
Nice.
He looks nothing like you.
You pick an odd out of anywhere.
That's right.
Little Tiff.
This is great.
Yeah, you could tell she has none of your personality either.
The beaming smile.
She'll be the big actress and all that.
Be careful if she starts drinking Jack.
Oh man.
Oh boy, watch out.
Yeah.
There's one thing I do have to say. I just kind of getting back to that when we dressed up like Kiss.
Yeah.
There are two people that I've seen dress up like Paul Stanley, other than Paul Stanley. Mike Ott, Tasha Hall, and I don't know which one was said. I don't know which one was said. It has me a little confused sometimes. Confused. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
Paul or Mike was the Paul Stanley, and when Tasha dressed up like Paul Stanley, yeah.
I'm wondering how many. I know that Ken's got a fully set up studio there that he can do some recording. How many of you guys are able, like, and this is a pipe dream, but could you, if you chose to resurrect like a sort of a remix of one of those old tunes, would you be able to record your parts at home and fuse this stuff together?
Yeah. Is that being done with a click track? Is that how that works? Everybody does a click and then somebody mixes it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be into
Yeah,
that.
totally. I
pretty
just go
cool.
down to his house. I don't even care.
Yeah. Well, just wear your mask, man. I think, so many of us fans of the band would really appreciate just hearing the band, because now we've got a couple more decades worth of musical wisdom, some history. And it's always interesting, right? I mean, your musical sophistication kind of grows, your appreciation for whatever, parts and maybe better use of white space, that kind of thing, so it'd be really cool to hear what you guys would come up with now versus back then.
Maybe we could do the Cloud album properly.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
Are you talking about like a brand new thing?
I would start with something you guys already knew. So then
already record I Believe in Faces.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get a copy of that.
I have recordings of us doing them live.
I'd love to hear it.
No, I have them on DVD of us doing them live, but no actual recordings. So I think we could figure it out.
I bet you
heard those songs.
If you did that, as something that some of you guys had done from back in the day, and then just put something new after you guys get familiar with each other again. I saw Ken pondering. He has his arms crossed and he's thinking about this.
I'll give you guys a really good deal.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that and put out some of the live stuff. I think some of the live stuff we've got is compelling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's do a quarantine song like everyone else.
It'd be really cool. I think a lot of people would.
Okay.
If we did a quarantine song, we would just have to get our children to figure out how to do that, because you need like Nick Burns, the company's move. You need some help. You know what I mean? That's so hard.
Could we do it on TikTok? We do a TikTok.
Oh, you should do a TikTok.
I just got one quick thing I want to.
Tim, TikTok is a thing that the kids are using. I'm just telling Tim what TikTok is real quick.
Right. I just wanted to say one thing about one of the things that Bill O'Connor wanted to do before he passed, he had this vision of doing a Scared album with guests, which I think would some of that music with different people. Bill talked to us about it.
Who did he have in mind?
It never happened, but that's a good idea.
Who did he have in mind for guests?
He was going to pick everything himself.
Okay.
That's kind of why, unfortunately, we didn't do it.
Ariana Grande and no.
Right.
No. Only because Bill's like we all love Bill.
Yeah.
He was kind of like sometimes it would have been difficult.
God, we all have so many memories. I could put together a Bill O'Connor episode of All Access Live and get everybody that ever worked with him, and it would be the most hilarious, the most heartbreaking, the most excruciatingly entertaining.
Most
You know,
pistol whipping.
oh my God, yeah.
I hadn't seen Bill since I left Butte, 1994. Last year, I was at a club here in Vegas.
I remember he told me this. I remember this.
Playing, and I walked up to the merch booth, and there was one other person at the merch booth, and I look over and I'm like, Bill? No, I said Joe. Joe O'Connor? And he goes, yeah. And then we just kind of go, oh, nice to see you. And we walked away. And then a couple minutes later, we came back and we're like, oh, I was so freaked out. I didn't recognize,
Yeah, out of context.
The night, probably 6 hours talking over each other.
Oh, God.
And
yeah.
And we left, and he took a picture of me by my car, and I took a picture of him. And then, a month or two later, he was gone. But
incredible treasure.
People together that way.
That's the truth. Yeah. I think the last time that I took a picture with him was with you, Rob, and you, Ken, down at Evil Knievel Days, right? When I was there with Appetite, I believe, and Shoot to Thrill. But he and I did stay in touch a bunch when he was up in Seattle, and he was mixing all those bands up there. And I have regrets about not jumping up there and catching up with him. But he was kind of like a dad to all of us. I know, in all sorts of ways, and so I definitely would love to raise one up for Bill O'Connor and say thank you for the coaching, Pops. And there you go, Paul. Nice, excellent.
There's been, we talked about Jamie, and we talked about Bill, and there was Joe Brown and George Sampson's, like
George
all
Sampson.
Soundmen.
Wow.
Something about the soundman smoking for 4 hours straight.
Oh my God.
All of our soundmen are kind of gone that we've been in with this band.
Yeah. Well,
all of us, because we've all been together, right?
Oh man.
Joe Brown is still alive, isn't he? Is Joe Brown still alive?
No. Steve, I'm sorry. I said Joe.
Steve Brown. Yeah,
Steve
nothing
Brown.
worse
He was
than
a soundman.
Joe worse than being on it. They go, I thought you were dead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Ken. It was Steve Brown. He was a sound man for us.
You're right.
Joe O'Connor.
Yeah.
Still kicking it. He was a sound man for.
Is he there in Butte?
He's in Seattle.
I think Seattle, but
okay.
Mike and
Tacoma.
Senior and Marco and Paul. He came down. Remember, he came down to Idaho and ran sound for us for a while. Can't remember the specifics why Jamie Stevens had to leave, and so Joe came down. I think it was in Boise. I can't remember quite.
Yeah, Joe did a good run with us for a while.
Yeah, he was a good sound man too.
Right. Right. He had the nodding thing, right? Yeah. But I know that the only reason that we never made any money was because Joe and Bill would drink the entire bar tab and then some before we even had our first show. I think, by the time sound check was over and they're like, all right, your bar tab's gone. You guys want to start a new card? And
I think you're thinking of Chester.
Yeah.
Chester. Whatever happened to Chester? He can't steal.
As well, yeah.
I'm sure he did. Well, we left him by the side of the road when we were somewhere deep in the desert, right? Were you on the gig then, Rob? Yeah. Well, rightfully so, I think. But anyway, sorry. Hey, gentlemen.
Before we go, musicvilla.com.
Yeah,
man. Baby.
So let's give a good plug for that. So back in the mid 80s, when I was learning to play drums,
I got this from Paul.
There was a little music store on Main Street, and right across the street from Cactus Records, run by Fred Decker, and it was a tiny little spot with Gino Crease, and soon after,
and Gino's still with me, still today.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a shout out to Fred's Threads. I bought some really cool stuff there to play gigs in Fred's.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot about Fred's Threads.
That was my mom's store.
Amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that till just now.
Look at this. Yeah. Look at this guitar Mike's got.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Mike got a beauty.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, there we go. I like that, Jamie.
Yeah, buddy. That,
Sweetwater's a good outfit, but they got too much business. They don't need all the business.
That's right. There's plenty of business
Support your
available.
locals.
Got to support the locals, man.
Heck yeah.
I'm really proud of what you've done. Paul Decker, Music Villa.
Thanks, man.
You absolutely have done it right, man.
Awesome used pedal selection. If you're into used pedals,
yeah,
used gear.
We keep it updated. The website's updated daily.
You've got a great team, man. I mean, but what you've done in terms of showcasing the product, bringing people in, education is really important. You really adopted the online market quickly and easily.
Yeah.
Like look at this, man. He's showcasing.
We're showing our instruments.
Stuff. Yeah, this is good. So you got the great guitar collection. Tim's got the best appliances here. Look at him.
Tim's got a Casio.
God, this is so good. Oh my gosh. Oh, you guys have matching.
Do we have matching?
Rob and Jamie, look at you guys.
Look at you guys.
Away with ukuleles on.
Little ukesters.
Yeah.
Fade away. Yeah. You know what? You got. Oh, that is so nice. And then you got the water jug.
I got the
One of
water
the craziest things I've ever seen, and this is maybe it's a sign of the times, but the first time I ever saw the music book, Black Sabbath for ukulele. That's just,
wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Uke is the biggest thing that's ever hit the planet. It's huge.
You guys will really appreciate the next guest that I have coming up. I'm taking the next 2 days off to escape to the woods with my kids to go watch meteor showers. But on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a live. It's going to be the first time I've actually done All Access Live in person with Ricky Rackman. So we're going to revisit Headbangers Ball era. And look, here's Tim's son.
Say hi, Shamble.
Hey, buddy.
Oh!
This the guy we hear about all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see you, pal. Nice to see you. That's so. It's just really fun to get to see your kiddos, you guys. This is great. The
artist of the family.
Wow, that's awesome. And then and Tim, you make a good hiding spot too. That's good. I
want to know if have you talked to him about marriage yet? You talked to him about that?
Yeah, we've had a long conversation about it.
I think that's just all part of the guidebook, right? This is the Tim Sullivan guidebook to I
have that thing with the rules. It's about this thing.
You know, you and Ron Jeremy both have a guidebook of rules, and I don't know which one of those might be more fascinating. But
I don't have any rules anymore. I don't give a shit about.
I think Tim and Ron Jeremy might get along really well.
Yeah, I could see that.
If Ron ever gets out of jail, and
in jail, and you think I'd get along with him?
It might be a while before Ron gets out, unfortunately. But But Todd Zuckerman's coming on that next day too. So I'll have Ricky Rackman. He's doing Ricky. This is really cool. So for those of you that are watching, Ricky's doing a 10,000 mile ride across the country to make money for the Alzheimer's Association. So he's got a foundation. If you go to Ricky's Ride 2020, you can see the foundation that he's supporting. The show that we do on Wednesday, he's out with Leah Vendetta, the tattoo artist as well. So Rob,
really.
Yeah, so they're doing it to raise money for Alzheimer's. You can go to rickysride20.com. If you hit their GoFundMe campaign and you put in Happy Rock In as the notation for any donation you make, there is a contest that they're having. So that when we do this thing on Wednesday, we're doing this live on location at this really cool bed and breakfast for musicians here in Portland. And so we're going to have just, 8 to 10 guests with COVID safe spaces there. And we're going to do the live interview, live Q&A. The winning donor gets to hang out, have a free night at the bed and breakfast for 2 and breakfast with Ricky and all that.
Well, for me, I would like to just say that Ricky Rackman he was huge for me. Headbangers Ball and all that. I knew that all of you guys were like me. If you didn't have a gig on Saturday night, it's all night waiting for Headbangers to come back on, and I know that he gets probably pretty sick of people saying, yeah, I grew up in this rural area and there was nothing like it, right? It was the first time I got to hear Pantera, or the first time, we'd hear XY band, but he's kept his integrity. He really tried to keep that Sunset Strip vibe really alive in LA. He bought the Cat House and he was trying to keep that thing going. COVID kicked his ass in all sorts of different ways, and so the fact that he's out there just doing this
with all of his income drying up so that he can make money for a charity. I think it's just crazy and awesome, but, so that's Wednesday. Thursday, Todd Zuckerman is going to be on the show, which is going to be a killer. So drummers certainly know. Paul knows.
He's a badass.
Unbelievable drummer, man. Todd plays drums for Styx, and in the drumming community, he's like a modern day phenom, and so there's a lot of really cool, fun stuff. I mean, you mentioned Jeff Watson earlier, but I've got Brad Gillis coming up shortly soon too. So
you got to talk to him about the Aussie gig for sure.
Oh, that'll be the biggest top. Yeah, I've done a lot of gigs with Night Ranger, and Brad and I have had some good heckles pre-sobriety and post. So it's he's one of the funniest dudes I've ever met.
Hey Kevin, speaking of off the record, I don't know if can we topics. I have a topic of you. I don't know if we can even say it. Just talking about pre-sobriety.
Yeah, it was probably one of my last benders at the NAMM show.
Yeah.
What do you remember? Because I don't remember. You can read it.
I remember you in the hotel bar at the Hilton. Someone spilled their tequila.
Oh yeah.
And you did it like that, like a line of Coke, like up the nose, the tequila up the nose. I was like,
Kevin,
damn, bro.
So the thing is, back when Jeremy Scared knew me, I was the straightest arrow for sure. I didn't drink, I didn't do any drugs, and I didn't want to be a deadbeat, and then I had kids. And I decided that, I held myself enough. So 28 was a good time to start, living a pseudo rock star life. And when you go to the NAMM show at the Hilton and you stand in line for an hour waiting to get a drink, you have to wait, so you have to get a couple of drinks. And so, it's like $30 for a Long Island. And so when they pour all that booze, and when they spilled that booze, that's like gold, man, and I wasn't going to lick it off the counter. I figured it's better to go up the nose. So. Yeah, the only reason I remember it is because I couldn't breathe for the rest of the weekend, but I'm not. There's a reason I'm so.
You don't. That's okay, but we had a good time, and it was a treat hanging with you.
You too, man. I'm really proud of you. It's fun to watch what you've done. You're a great asset. Great asset to Bozeman. One of the few sort of cultural things that stuck around that's actually really good in Bozeman, I think.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Trying to keep it alive.
Yeah, man. I'm grateful for it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You even lent a little like true local cred to John Mayer when he came in too. I think right. You kind of
he's been in a couple times.
From what I remember hearing was that you kind of gave him some tips on how to acclimate to the scene.
I don't know if I did that.
Call Tim to have him give him some marriage tips.
Actually, that's necessary, man. God, I can't wait to read Tim's, Tim's like, you could just have an op-ed article, in the Butte papers. I think that'd be good.
Tim needs an on the road book. He needs an on the road guide. One towel, one thing of tuna and beans, one fork.
Oh man, this is great. Fawnlanders enjoyed this whole thing too. He just said much love and like to all of you guys. I think
do it. Tim used to have the old, hold on. Hanging with Tim section of the newsletter.
Oh my God! Look at this.
What?
I forgot all about that shit. That's funny.
I forgot about that too.
He had a Marco cartoon.
Oh my goodness! You guys had a newsletter. I didn't know about this.
And
I forgot about that.
Everything.
The best one was our first issue.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this.
The collector's edition. You'll notice collectors is spelled wrong.
Of course. Well, that's what makes the collectors.
Oh, that was you.
This is when you went to Kinko's and taped everything.
Yeah.
Shit, we had to mail that shit out.
Moved it, stapled it from the band house in Idaho.
We tried everything.
That's
we
way
been
before.
famous. That's all I can say.
We'll include that with the COVID release. We'll include a PDF copies of that.
I'll make sure I talk to Ricky about that on Wednesday. I'm going to say, hey, you remember that band, Jeremy Scared, that should have been, right? But I think, I agree with you guys. I think, a different time, different place, man. It could have and should have happened. But I like that you guys kept the camaraderie together. I really look forward to hearing something that you can put together, whether it be, a remake of an original or one of the other originals or something new. But I know a lot of people out there would love hearing it. And I'm grateful to see that you guys are all healthy and happy. Everybody here still alive and kicking, so I'm proud of you. I totally appreciate you being here with me this afternoon and making time for it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin.
Listen,
It's awesome to see you guys, man.
You guys too, man. So just keep
I love all you guys, and I miss you dearly.
Thanks
And
for
that's
bringing
like
us
from the
back,
heart, man.
Caleb.
I love you guys.
If
I'll
we
have-
have for a short story, since we got Chris on there, here one of the beautiful best moments I had in my entire
Short story.
right is after I left Scared and Ken came in and just powerhoused it. We got a show together out in Cardwell, Montana, and the bill was our new band, Jeremy Scared and Soma, and it was like the Monsters of Rock of Montana.
Yeah.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
I have the poster.
Do you?
Yo, Montana Invasion, yeah.
That's right. You got a poster on your wall there in the shop. I took a picture of it the other day. That's fantastic, man. Hey, Mike Klaus, thank you too for watching on the chat. I appreciate it. He's a big supporter of the show, and it's great that he gets to listen to a lot of new, interesting music. He and I have a great Ron Jeremy experience that we'll share with you guys sometime. But I made him promise I would never tell the whole thing. So,
Ron Jeremy Scared. Ron Jeremy Scared. We'll
oh my God, there you go.
What?
If he ever gets out of jail, man, we're gonna put you guys together. This is good. Hey, Jeremy Scared, Rob McLean, Ken Rich, Tim Sullivan, Jamie Adams, Paul Decker, and Mike Lott. I appreciate you being here. Thank you guys so much. Thanks to 5-Star Guitars for supporting us, and thanks to Music Villa for supporting me all those years. So if you haven't yet, anybody watching, please subscribe to this channel, and I will archive this at the kevinrankin.com site so that we can have a link to the new Jeremy Scared song should it ever come out. You guys have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll talk to you if you show up on Wednesday. Make sure you chat in with Ricky Rackman, okay?
Thanks, brother.
All right, you guys. Have a great one.
guys.
Take care.
That was
Later.
All right, peace.
awesome.